you at in terms of a starting lineup, what you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Their coach has a personality that is New York City. Tough, grinding, defensive, no holds barred. We muck this game up and we make you play it our way. And Tibbs has been rewarded. And he should be rewarded for what he's done with the Knicks.
Betting above the rim, only on...
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people that bustle up, and everybody else in between. The Friday Night Freak Show has begun. The Olympic action continues. It's the calm before the storm. We've got some big-time events coming up in a matter of hours, and we'll break it all down this evening. We got a full house on the program tonight. Steve Merrill will step up and in. We'll talk Major League Baseball with Steve. We'll talk Olympic basketball with Steve. Rob Vino throws it down with us this evening. We'll talk CFL football, Olympics, Major League Baseball, NFL football, maybe a little college football as countdown to kickoff is on. We're officially now just 3 weeks away from the start of the college football regular season. The preseason began with some controversy last night. The game has to be 55 minutes to be official. Lou Gamblu will kick it with us today. We got a big UFC card tomorrow. That's right. The UFC... They rarely take a week off, the UFC. It used to be like there was a pay-per-view once a month, and there was there was a reality TV show and a pay-per-view once a month. Now there's a lot of stuff, a lot of shows, countdowns, and reality shows, and everything else in between, and a card pretty much every week, right? So we've got a card tomorrow on ABC. So Lou will step up and help navigate the card for us, because I got to be honest with you, I haven't put a lot of time into this card. There's a couple of interesting fights, though, and I think there might be some live dogs on this card. So I look forward to seeing what Lou has to say. Tony Finn will step up and in this evening. The Ranger Redhead Cam Stewart will not be with us tonight, and I swear I've been doing the show a long time, and I thought that I've heard it all, seen it all. Yeah, if you last long enough, you'll be surprised on a daily basis. The other night we had a first in which George Kurtz was removed from the show the other night because of an insensate cricket sound that he had going on in his studio. There was a cricket, and it was really loud, and that's never happened to us before, but somehow Cam has managed to cut himself profusely, shaving. He did this before. Cam missed the show a couple of months ago because he cut himself shaving and it wouldn't stop bleeding, and he did it like right before the show. So he pretty much did the same thing today. He's tried to cover it up with Band-Aids and makeup and stuff, but it hasn't helped. It's still bleeding, and it's like all over his face. So Cam was a late scratch. You want to know what happens behind the scenes? I did not know this. I found this out literally about 3 minutes before the show started, in which I sat down and was informed that Cam has blood all over his face, and he's not cleared to come on the air with the blood on his face. Hey, if it was me, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Just, let's hear the story. let's hear the story about, like, I mean, this guy's got a serious problem, Cam. Like, I've cut myself shaving before. We've all done it, and I've done it, like, I've cut my ear, I've cut my lip. Like, I've done some weird things shaving before. I'm not going to dispute that. Yeah, at the same point in time, I haven't had to miss shows due to it. This is the second time Cam has disabled himself. It's like, and you know what? Like, in the future, Cam loses, like, all privileges of mocking any athlete for an injury. You know what I mean? Like, there's always, like, the weird sport injury. It happens all the time, right? I remember years ago, Sammy Sosa missed, like, 3-4 games because he pulled something after he sneezed. And at the time, everybody laughed, but it's very possible to happen. So this, Cam's like an athlete that basically has put himself on the injured list by doing something stupid. And I don't know. Maybe Cam should use an electric razor moving forward. I think that's my advice. Like, I don't think, like, he knows how to use a razor. He clearly has very sensitive skin, but I'm not sure he fully knows how to use a razor. So no Cam Stewart tonight, all right, because he's gushing blood right now. But don't feel too bad because, like I said, he did it to himself. So speaking of which, I did it to myself by taking the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Dear God, what a big mistake this was. Listen, I got a 60% win clip this year in the CFL, but we're taking it on the chin the last two nights, last night and tonight. And the unders just keep cashing in the CFL. We'll talk about this with Rob Bino. Tonight's game is about to go under the number, and it's going to be 9-1 in the last 10 games. We're getting into a pretty serious pattern here right now, at least in on the last 2 weeks. There's 2 more games coming up, but yeah, 8 of the last 9 games coming into tonight have gone under the number. You figure that, you know what, this will open up a little bit. It could have, but Hamilton's quarterback, Bo Levi Mitchell, sucks. So that's why it hasn't. But we'll talk some CFL football a little bit later on. NFL football, we'll talk a little NFL football as well. I brought this up yesterday, and I don't know, everyone's flipping out about the boxer thing, and people are into the Olympics, and no one was really, making a big deal about the fact that Justin Herbert is injured. I talked about it last night, and I exactly said, I'm surprised that, like, even when you went on, like, sports websites, it wasn't up or it was buried. Like, it wasn't as big of a story as it should be, and it kind of is. Plantar fasciitis, not good. It's one of those, like, injuries that can linger for a prolonged period of time. Now, it's not the end of the world, but it's not the way you want to start the Harbaugh era. With the quarterback missing camp right now, they hope, that was their term, they hope that he'll be back. And Harbaugh's press conference, it was like his first press conference where, like, the honeymoon was over. The media in L.A. wanted answers. What happened? How long did you guys know about this? Was he practicing with this? And how come you guys didn't know? Right? It was a confrontational sort of interrogation. And Harbaugh, like I said, the honeymoon kind of ended today when Harbaugh basically told him, I'm not telling you anything. Harbaugh said, I'm not qualified to answer any questions. You are the head coach of the football team. But nevertheless, this is why we talk about it. And I said it the other night, when you're betting on these futures, man, and we all do it, like the season's coming up, I get it. You got to get the bets in, but I prefer to bet the unders that I like first. I've been saying it for years. Only bad things can happen between now and the start of the season. And there'll be other big-time players that are going to get hurt. There's been a lot of, like, carnage already, actually. The Los Angeles Rams lost their starting cornerback, basically, for the year. DeAndre Hopkins is out 4 to 6 weeks. That's just going to be a sign of things to come. Now this Herbert injury kind of lingering right now over the Chargers. They're saying 2-3 weeks. Okay. Season starts in 4 weeks. Just saying. And you guys are saying this, and is he going to be ready to go? And, you can hop up your you can hop up a linebacker or something like that, like a Chinese swimmer. You can, when it's a quarterback, it's a little bit different. You don't want to be telling your quarterback, listen, don't worry about it. We're going to stick a needle in your ankle for 17 weeks in a row here. And just play through it, and you won't feel it. Because, when they get the cortisone shots and the other shots and drugs that they take to numb the injury, it doesn't make the injury better. You just don't feel it as much, right? And then you do after. So, I'm a little bit concerned. As people know, I was bullish on the Chargers. I didn't like it up to over 9.5 like it was. We talked about liking them over 8.5, but now this is why we say you got to kind of wait when you're betting on overs when it comes to futures. 27-8 in this football game. The Montreal Alouettes are about to win their 7th consecutive road game, which is super impressive. The last time a team in the CFL won 8 consecutive road games was 1999. So the Alouettes are doing something special right now. Every time I go against the Alouettes, the only team I've ever been a season ticket holder for, I always get burnt. Let's roll.
That race for the Cy Young, pretty much as equally compelling and intriguing as the race for the wild card spots in the National League.
And also keep in mind, this team doesn't pitch the entire season, so his ERA gets affected much, much more if he has a poor outing than, let's just say, Chris Sale or Zach Wheeler that's been there all season long. This would be a fun one to watch it play out, but the big loser last night were the Phillies and Zach Wheeler.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup, what you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The silver and the bronze. I give you Canada, France, Germany, Serbia, and Australia.
Germany, more so than Canada. I think that their talent, it's a little more tiered. You know what Dennis Schroeder's capable of. Franz Wagner, another player. Daniel Tice steps up, and Mo Wagner as well. They're built to really take advantage of the mistakes that Team USA makes, and they can make the effort plays.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, like it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on like 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, yeah, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to like number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's do this thing. This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency on a Friday night freak show. Steve Merrill will join us in a couple of minutes. We got Lou Gamblu, Rob Vino, Tony Finn. A lot of stuff to unpack, including the Olympic action. And we got some big-time events coming up. It's go time right now. And we fired off so many bets, and we're waiting for the results now. But it's medal weekend in a lot of these events right now, including the women's 100 meters. All right, so the women's 100 meters is in the afternoon tomorrow. We've got more swimming, big-time swimming events tomorrow, as well as the swimming is winding down, which is kind of sad to see. But it was another electric day today in France, and it was another great day for the host nation, Frenchmen, today as well. As we know about the controversy, we talked about the Copa stuff. And I don't know if you guys have the best of X ready yet. If you don't, it's all good. We'll get it up later. But if you do, let's get the picture up. is so remember the Copa America, that was all over the top. And Argentina, if you'll notice, don't get along with anybody, okay? Like Argentina, like you saw, Argentina was fighting with everybody in the Copa. After they won the Copa, they, for whatever reason, decided to mock France in a derogatory and racist and homophobic way, and posted videos of it. Thought that would be a good idea, and it just put a target. It put a target on everybody that performs for Argentina going into the French Olympics. Like we saw what happened on day one of the soccer. It was the first day of the Olympics, before the opening ceremony even. Fans stormed the field. It was the Moroccan fans, but there were a lot of French people there too. And they were throwing stuff at the Argentinians. They've been booing the national anthem, which is just like, that's the lightest thing they've done. But there's a lot of animosity, all right? Like serious animosity. And they played in the rugby sevens. And France beat them. And you could tell, like, it meant more. Like, they were finishing their tackles. It was like, almost like, hey, sorry to do this to you, but we don't have a choice. And they keep on playing each other in these big-time events, France and Argentina. So they played in soccer today. And there were a lot of concerns, actually, about, all right, this could get really nasty, this game. And, what's going to happen with the crowd? What's going to happen on the pitch? What like I said, it could get ugly type of thing. And it really didn't until it did, right? Like, it really didn't. It was a well-played game. The officials did a good job keeping it in check. The players were all pretty respectful for the most part. There was some smack talk going on, but it wasn't out of control until it was. And it started to get, tenser and tenser. Like, each 10-minute, you know what I mean? Each 10-minute that would pass, it was like, oh, man, it's getting pretty tense in the 60th minute. It was like, man, it's pretty tense now in the 70th. By the time it got to the 80th minute, it was like a fever pitch. France were holding on to a 1-0 lead. Argentina were pressing. France scored to take a 2-0 lead, but the goal was disallowed. As I stated, it was very, very dramatic. And France ended up winning the game 1-0. But after they won, the French players, they knew exactly where the Argentinian wives were and families were. And the French players all ran over to the section where the Argentinian family and wives were, and they basically let them have it pretty good. They grabbed their nuts. They basically waved. They trolled them, big time. Hey, and some of them were, gyrating. It was pretty clear. It was a big F-U to the Argentinian families, which then the Argentinian players flipped out. And they flipped out, and there was, you can't really call it a fight because it was one of those, everyone's sort of pushing each other around. But you got to realize France are still playing. They couldn't get they can't start knocking people out. But it was pretty hostile. And, it's not right because if you're an Argentinian and you're not on the men's soccer team, it's not your fault that a couple of players are a bunch of jackasses. Yet now you're going into a country. These soccer players really didn't think this out very well when they did this, thinking, you know what, the Olympics are in Paris in 2 weeks. Maybe we shouldn't troll France. And now, just by chance, like I said, every Argentinian, there's all these big games. Argentina, France, handball. France beats them. Rugby sevens, knockout stage. France beats them. Soccer doesn't get any bigger than that today. France beats them. France is really enjoying beating the Argentinians right now. So that stuff, that was just a crazy atmosphere. And speaking of the French, too, and I bet over 26.5 gold medals with France. And I got a bad number because it came down to 25.5. I got over 26.5 at plus money, and I was like, man, how do I not take over 26.5 at plus 140? About a week later, right 4 days, right before the game started, they had dropped a full medal, gold medal, down to 25.5 at plus money. And I remember we talked about it before the games. I said, man, people are fading France, on the overall market here, as far as the medal market is concerned. They misadjusted the number or something like that. But here we are. France are absolutely killing it. And Leo Marchand won again, his 4th gold medal of the week in the pool. Something I want to say quickly, and it reminded me of hockey a little bit. there's always a lot of talk about, a team from Canada hasn't won the Stanley Cup since 1993. Why is that and stuff? It's like, yeah, well, you know what? Like 18 of the 23 people on all these hockey teams in the NHL are Canadian, right? Right? So it's sort of like one of these, they all played in Canada, with the exception of the NCAA. And I was thinking about the same thing. We always hear like, the world is coming on and catching up to America in all these sports. And I'm watching the swimming today, and the girls from Australia, Summer McIntosh from Canada, all these girls are all dominating from different parts, and they're all like in America. Like Leon Marchand, the Frenchman, who's like dominant and, they're really patriotic. It's like, Leon, he's beating the Americans. He's beating the world. He won 4 gold medals. Leon Marchand lives in Arizona. Summer McIntosh moved to Florida. And there's a swimmer tomorrow. Steve Merrill's going to join us on the other side. There's a swimmer tomorrow in action. The one threat, actually, I believe, to Summer McIntosh is a Virginia Cavaliers swimmer. Let's roll.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Their coach has a personality that is New York City. Tough, grinding, defensive, no holds barred. We muck this game up and we make you play it our way. And Tips has been rewarded. And he should be rewarded for what he's done with the Knicks.
Betting above the rim, only.
Thank you, I appreciate this. You want one of these?
I'm good, KG.
You want your ginger shot?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I need some positivity today. I'm trying to cover this spread, and your vibe is off, G.
What's wrong with my vibe?
You got to get you one of these, G. Get to sip some of this positivity in your life, and boom! You see that? Spread's covered. Thank you, Mama. In a minute, G. Ha ha!
All right, we bet an in-game over in the CFL game, and it might actually maybe get there. And nothing like a quarterback just sort of purposely taking a knee. You can't make this stuff up. I've been saying this for years, actually, and it's a good precursor for the NFL coming up. Quarterbacks and their stupid sliding, they always get hurt. You either get smoked and, they got a penalty. Good for you. You get hit in the head, or you injure yourself somehow. And the whole ironic thing is they all slide not to get hurt. Like the Montreal Alouette quarterback was just running into the end zone, and, they wanted to kill a little bit of the clock. And instead of just running out of bounds or getting tackled or whatever, he did this little sort of stop and tried to slide thing. His cleat got caught in the turf. He just twisted his knee and he just hurt himself. If you just would have got tackled, bro, you would have gotten up and everything would have been fine. Like, I swear to God. And they didn't used to do this in the old days. Like, quarterbacks, they didn't slide. I get it. You don't want to get your quarterback killed, but it leads to more injury. You see, like, baseball players can't even slide anymore. Like, it's a lost art. Like, they don't know how to slide properly. Like, not to mention your cleats get caught in up in the turf, which you can't control. I see it all the time. It just happened right now. Steve Merrill with us. Steve, good to see you tonight. How you doing?
So I didn't have anything in the Hall of Fame game last night, but what an incredible start to the football season. Let's hope this isn't a precursor to craziness, because the game, 32 is the closing number. It's 38 points mid-third quarter, and, of course, they never resume, which means the total is voided. So you talk about a bad beat, Gabe. I wasn't involved, but that was about as bad as you're going to see all football season if you had the over last night.
Yeah, what a way to start, as you stated. But not only, and listen, I got my Houston Texan money back. I had a money line bet on the Houston Texans. So I did get that money back, but I bet the under, Steve, and I did not get my money back. Like, I lost.
No.
Yeah. No,
That's
but you know
right.
why?
Yeah.
No, it is. It is because the only people, Steve, that does that are if you have a ticket at a actual window. Like all these books, like once the game goes over, Steve, or under on these books, they pay you automatically in game. Like you don't get paid after the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the second the game goes over, you've already been paid. You get paid instantly. Like Bet365 pays you like literally 10 seconds after the game goes over the number in the game. Like it could go over in the second quarter, but they're going to pay you right away. So,
well, I mean,
and Snell just completed a no-hitter. I didn't want to mush him. But I know what you're saying, Steve, because remember the old baseball rule and stuff, the same thing. It's antiquated and it's stupid.
The Nevada gaming rules are still 55 out of 60 minutes. So every bet in Nevada, I'm pretty sure, was refunded last night. And obviously, they're not the big boys like they were up until a couple of years ago. FanDuel and DraftKings kind of are the big boys now. Bet365, like you said. And look, it's hard to argue against it because the game had already gone over, right? So I fully get that. But I don't like the inconsistencies because I would have assumed that was still the rule most books use. But I guess you're right. They want to pay people out sooner, so they bet it sooner.
So you'll bet more. Exactly.
And that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, like same with a baseball game. You'll get paid. I know Malinsky, the late, great Dave Malinsky was, and he never, Dave would never get mad, but it was like the maddest I heard him once. It was like 14-8 or something in the baseball game. He had it. It was over, and it didn't resume. He didn't get paid for it. Right. But like I said, though, in the modern era with these books, you get paid right away. Like you literally, like the second the game goes over, although they'll notice they do grade the losses a little bit quicker. Like they grade the losses within 0.1 seconds, Steve. I swear to God. You lose a bet, these sports books, bro, you have an X next to it, Steve, like so fast. I once complained. I once asked them. I said, well, how is it that you take sometimes like 12 minutes, 15, 20 minutes sometimes or longer to grade a bet, a winning bet. But I said, losing bets, you always manage to grade as a loss. Like the second the game is over. How's that possible? They were like, oh, it's a different it's a different, they grade the losses first, he said. So we do the loss, the computer does it first, and then it does the winners.
Yeah, and I was going to say real quick, Gabe, I get that it was 38 already had gone over, but what if it was at like 30 points and it hadn't gone over yet? They're going to refund it then, so that, and even though it probably still goes over, so it gets tricky.
Yes. Yeah. You're on the right side and the wrong side, I guess, sometimes, right? That's the moral?
Right.
That race for the Cy Young pretty much as equally compelling and intriguing as the race for the wild card spots in the National League.
And also keep in mind, this team doesn't pitch the entire season, so his ERA gets affected much, much more if he has a poor outing than, let's just say, Chris Sale or Zach Wheeler that's been there all season long. This would be a fun one to watch it play out, but the big loser last night were the Phillies and Zach Wheeler.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup, what you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The silver and the bronze. I give you Canada, France, Germany, Serbia, and Australia.
Germany, more so than Canada. I think that their talent, it's a little more tiered. You know what Dennis Schroeder's capable of. Franz Wagner, another player. Daniel Tice steps up, and Mo Wagner as well. They're built to really take advantage of the mistakes that Team USA makes, and they can make the effort plays.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, like it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on like 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, yeah, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to like number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, we took an in-game over of this train wreck of a football game, over 44.5. I didn't think it was going to get there. It has. It's 33-16. But if the Hamilton Tiger Cats could score a touchdown here, and there's a $1.33 left, we could hit our teaser with them, and I would like to do that. That's the good news. The bad news is they put the backup quarterback in because there's a minute 33 left, and they're losing 33-16. Good news is the starting quarterback of the Ticats was terrible tonight anyway, so I don't know if it actually hurts. Maybe we can get a miracle touchdown, but they just dumped it off for nothing. So Steve Merrill in the house with us. Steve, let's get into some basketball here. Coming into this, my pre-tournament prediction was USA gold, Canada silver, Germany bronze. So I was on the Germans, but you can make an argument Germany's playing as well as anybody. Like, they're smoking teams. They're a very confident team. We just saw them run through their group and their gauntlet. We saw them play the United States in the showcase game, and they weren't intimidated. They lost like 92-88 or something like that. It was a very close game. Germany are dangerous. Like, Canada are very good, but Germany are a very, very dangerous team. This USA game, Steve, you know, they've already won by so much. They're 35.5-point favorites. I know Puerto Rico got lit up, but the way I'm looking at this is I can see the U.S. sort of taking the pedal off the metal a little bit as the game goes on. It's the last round-robin game. And I don't know if Puerto Rico will be able to score enough, Steve, to get us over the number here. Like, let's say to you, it's only a 40-minute game. So let's say the U.S. and Serbia hung 107 on them. Let's say the U.S. hangs 115 on them. Dude, like, even if Puerto Rico scored 80 points, it would, like, the numbers don't really add up here, Steve, if they got like 70 points or something. And I think Puerto Rico will struggle offensively. I don't like betting a lot of unders, but in the Olympics, a lot of unders have been hitting. They're 40-minute games, man. Like, it's trickier. I'm looking at the under here, Steve. What's your opinion on the game?
Yeah, so the total's around 189. USA is it's gone from 35 up to 35.5 now. But let's look at the team totals. USA 112.5, Puerto Rico 76.5. So that's what the team totals are to get to the 188, 189, 112, and 76.
I don't think they get to 76.
they have some serious matchup problems because they're the smallest team in the entire Olympic tournament. And that did not bode well against Serbia. Jokic had a good game, but didn't dominate like he could have. And they got outscored 66-22 inside the paint against Serbia and lost by 41, I believe. The U.S. beat Serbia by 26 both times this year. I just don't know what to do with this USA team, Gabe. I liked them against South Sudan. It's the only play I've had in the Olympics. I didn't necessarily think we were getting 14 points in value because obviously the 43-point spread 2 weeks ago was too high, but it was 14 points less at minus 29. And even though the U.S. won by a point, I thought it was a revenge spot for the USA. They're up by 19 at the half. It was looking good. Never in a million years did I think South Sudan would win the second half outright. I just don't know what to make of this USA team. And you can say, yes, they took their foot off the gas, but the backups were Kevin Durant, Edwards, and Bam, and they were the three of the best players in the game. They came off the bench. So it's like, where's the drop-off when you have your bench out there? Tatum didn't play the first game. Embiid did not play the second game. By the way, I like Embiid props over if you can find them. As of Friday afternoon, most of the books did not have him up, but Kerr's already said he's going to be in the starting lineup. And the fact that Puerto Rico is the smallest team in the tournament, Embiid should have a big game and get more minutes. If you can get Embiid rebounds, points, any kind of prop over, I like it on Saturday.
Very frustrating, is it, Steve? Well, just put every damn player up. I'm looking right now. They don't have Embiid. James, Holiday, Edwards, Durant, Davis, Curry, Booker. There was the same thing the other day. I wanted to bet someone on Japan, and they didn't have them. They had like 2-3 of the guys. I'm like, why wouldn't you have this guy as well? It was very, very frustrating. So yeah, I don't see Embiid here. Like I said, I'm going to go with the under. I really don't want to lay the 35.5. You know, to me, Steve, feels like a game. It's like when we talk about these college football games. It's going to land right around the number, bro. They might win by 34. They might win by 37. But they're going to kind of have to want to. It's a lot of points. And will they take it a little easier on Puerto Rico as the game goes on? I don't know if they're just going to murder them by 42, Steve. And as far as South Sudan is concerned, these guys can ball. You know, they're a very good rebounding team. They're averaging 48 rebounds a game, 17 offensive rebounds a game. They crash the glass, this team. They're a pretty good three-point shooting team, too, Steve. 36% from three in the tournament. They don't quit when they're down if they get down. They don't really get discouraged. What do you think about them against I was surprised the number's as high as it is. I'm seeing a 14.5 now with South Sudan and Serbia. I'm going to take South Sudan.
Yeah. And South Sudan is not out of advancing, don't forget, because they beat Puerto Rico. Both these teams are 1-1. There are 7-1 on the money line. So you're talking about a 12, 13%
point differential
chance.
Count, Steve. They won't tap out. I love that when you bet on this stuff.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, they're going to be 1-2 if they lose. Serbia will be 2-1. So I think the top two advance, but then I think the third place team can advance.
There's third place,
right?
Best two third place
Correct.
by point differentials. Yeah.
You've got the top two from all three advance, and then two of the three third place teams will advance. So they're probably alive since Puerto Rico is going to be over. So yeah, they have incentive to keep it close and keep playing hard. This is basically an elimination game for both teams. So maybe the under 178.5 makes some sense. If they're a good rebounding team, that'll negate some of Serbia's size edge that they had against Puerto Rico. So I actually kind of like the under in this game, Gabe, under 178.5.
Steve, before we get you out of here, you enjoying the Olympics as a whole? Have you had an opportunity to see them tomorrow? Just a massive day, Steve. Ledecky, Biles, and Sha'Carri Richardson. The women 100 meters is tomorrow afternoon, and the men's 100 meters is Sunday afternoon. Just a heads up, one of the marquee events.
Yeah, Gabe, every 4 years, I end up watching more Olympics than I ever planned. I don't think a thing about it. I turn it on that first day or two, and then I'm hooked and watch 3 or 4 hours a day. And every day this week, I keep thinking, how could Teddy Cover say he's not going to watch 30 seconds of this? It's been pissing me off every single day because it really is what's great about sports. It matters. There's national pride involved.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool stuff, and I know you appreciate it as well.
I've been betting on a ton of events, Steve, but I watched the race today. I didn't have any money on it. I watched the full 15 minutes.
I watched the 5,000. I watched the whole damn thing. They're the qualifying heats.
Guys?
Man, those last 3 minutes. Well, I was watching the women, but the last 3 laps, it's insane.
Yeah.
They're just going and they sprint. After 3 miles, they just start sprinting, and then they're laying down, exhausted. And that was the semis. Yeah, it's cool stuff. I love it.
Steve? How close they run together. I'm amazed they don't all tumble. They're going so fast and they're all boxed in. I'm like, man, if one of you just clicks each other's toes like a NASCAR crash, Steve, it's going to cause a domino effect, you know?
Well, the defending gold medal champ, who's an American, fell in one of the qualifiers, didn't even make the Olympics. She won gold 4 years ago in one of the distance races, like the mile or something. I saw that today. And I started thinking it's amazing that doesn't happen more often. So I'm with you on that.
It does happen every now and then, but like it already happened.
Well, the baton being dropped in the relays.
Yeah. Oh, you always feel bad when that happens. You know, it's like all that work, 4 years, it's like slips out. There's great swimming tomorrow too, actually. With a girl that goes to the University of Virginia. I think she just graduated, but Amy Walsh, sorry.
Cool, I'll have to look
Ashley
that up.
Walsh. She's in the 200 meter intermedley. It's one of the glamour sort of showcase swimming events. I think the Canadian's going to win. 17 years old, Summer McIntosh. She's already won 2 gold medals and a silver this week. Steve is a 17-year-old, pretty impressive. I think she's going to add one more gold to the mantle here.
Yeah, and her mom was an Olympic swimmer. I saw the one last night or the night before when she won.
Yeah.
The parents in the crowd, and they said she's Quebec, I believe, and she had to move to Florida during the shutdown.
Ontario, Toronto.
4 years ago. Toronto, but she couldn't swim enough up in Canada because of all the restrictions. I'm thinking, yeah, chlorine doesn't kill COVID, but yeah, that's why she went to Florida, and I think she's been down there ever since.
Yeah, it's a good point as far as that, but let's not relive. I don't want to have to relive
A lot of
any of that
craziness.
stuff. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, man.
That race for the Cy Young, pretty much as equally compelling and intriguing as the race for the wild card spots in the National League.
And also keep in mind, this team doesn't pitch the entire season, so his ERA gets affected much, much more if he has a poor outing than, let's just say, Chris Sale or Zach Wheeler that's been there all season long. This would be a fun one to watch it play out, but the big loser last night were the Phillies and Zach Wheeler.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The silver and the bronze. I give you Canada, France, Germany, Serbia, and Australia.
Germany, more so than Canada. I think that their talent, it's a little more tiered. You know what Dennis Schroeder's capable of. Franz Wagner, another player. Daniel Tice steps up, and Mo Wagner as well. They're built to really take advantage of the mistakes that Team USA makes, and they can make the effort plays.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, like it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on like 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, yeah, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to like number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, before we get Steve out of here, I'm going to blow Merrill's mind here. And Steve's going to go, what? No way. And he's going to get on his soapbox here. So, Steve, did we lose Steve?
I'm here.
We had, there you are. Okay, I see Lou's in the green room getting ready to go. Okay, so, Steve, you're going to like this story. So, the Olympic Village, it looks great on TV, obviously, Paris, right? It's freaking amazing, the way the games looks. And NBC, the ratings are killing it. People love the aesthetics of it. It looks great. But there's always going to be problems at the Village and stuff like that. So Number one, it's 105 degrees there in Paris every day.
It's hot. Yeah, I was going to say it's hot.
They don't
that's
have
the
air
first thing I've
conditioning
noticed.
in France. They don't have air conditioning. They're not big on air conditioning there.
Very European.
Yeah. It's not good for the environment. It doesn't get that hot normally, blah, blah. Like, hey, Steve, in Vancouver, there's no heat or air conditioning in place either. Weather neutral.
Oh.
Doesn't get that hot, doesn't get that cold, supposedly. Yeah, but it does get that hot. So, but anyway, so there's no air conditioning, blah, blah. But get this, bro. There was a mandate by the government of France, and this is some pinko commie stuff. And I'm not one of these wokeness guys. I hate all this. Oh, woke. But this is pinko commie to me. 60% of the food, Steve, that the athletes are fed in the Olympic Village has to be vegan or plant-based.
I've heard something about this a few weeks ago,
stuff, bro. These
I didn't know it was that bad.
Meat.
Yeah, I did not know it was that bad, but I heard something about a month ago about the food, and a lot of athletes were bringing their own food because of it, and that is pretty ridiculous because these are like high-field machines. These are precise. These are like making the Formula One cars go on ethanol, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They need their protein.
Crazy.
Exactly. So they ran out of the meat products because all the athletes took the 40% of the meat products and they got stuck with the tofu and stuff after. And Ariana
The Ethiopians were complaining. The marathoners were happy, though.
So the Ariana Titmus, the Australian girl who's a big champion, she won a gold medal and she bitched after and she said, I could have broke a world record. But not with the food they're feeding us, right?
Wow.
And so she said, she goes, it's a battle of wills. It's gotten better, but there was an early day on Saturday where a lot of them didn't eat and stuff. It was basically like punk rock style. Like, all right, she said it was like we were all in the same boat. It was a battle of toughness. Like, let's do it. We got to do this. So it's got a little better, but the some of the insanity of this stuff, but. The real thing about the pool, Steve, is, and this is another thing where it's just a quick French thing, where the thing with the pool, Olympic pools used to be standard 2 meters deep. And it wasn't that long ago. It was only, they were saying like about 15, 20 years ago, they went to 3 meters because you can go faster. If it's 2 meters, the water, there's more turbulence and the water bounces back up. So they're able to go faster in a deeper pool, essentially. The arena that it's in France told them, we're not letting you dig 3 meters deep, right? They said, you guys can go 2.3 meters, but it'll destroy the infrastructure, blah, blah, the foundation. You can't go that deep. Like, it's an old city, Paris, bro. It's, you know what I mean? It's an old medieval city.
Yeah, and I get that.
They were like, you can't go 3 meters deep. It's going to ruin, it's too damaging for us. We're not doing it. So they went 2.3. You would figure, wow, who cares? No one's going that deep. But that's why the world records aren't be broken, because since there's it's higher up, the water bounces up and there's less of a flow, whatever. So there's a little science behind it, Steve.
That's fascinating because Ledecky broke her own Olympic record at age 27 the other night, which is unbelievably impressive.
How good she is.
When I was thinking, though, Gabe, I've seen some track records being broken. In fact, the second qualifier, the 1,500 women today, or the 5,000 women, was the fastest heat ever. And then tonight, or earlier today, they have the mixed 4x400 man-woman mix. The qualifying run, the U.S. broke the world record in the qualifiers, which you never see that happen. So it did occur to me, I'm thinking, well, I wonder if there's something about the track, but I never thought swimming pools were different. That is fascinating. And for the Americans out there, 2 meters is about 6.5 feet. 3 meters is almost 10 feet. So it is a substantial difference, as you can imagine. That's actually very interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. They were explaining how it was like 47% more mass, type thing. It was like, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm sure it makes a difference. I wouldn't have known which way it made a difference, though, to be honest. I would have thought shallow was better because there was less resistance, maybe, but that's very interesting.
There's always something. Steve, awesome stuff. We'll catch up with you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, my man.
Let's bring in, we go from Steve to Lou. I guess Lou's a swim expert. He swims in Arizona. He does like 100 laps a day. And as I say, it's almost...
That's correct. That's actually correct. I've been swimming since I was a kid.
I know. That's what I figured. You're out there in Arizona. That's how you stay cool and stay in shape. And I got to say, it's the one exercise I actually enjoy doing. You know what I mean? Like, I have a pool in my condo, and I like it. I do the laps. I can't do 100. I tap out after like 40 and stuff, and I'm huffing and puffing and all that. But always enjoy it. But it's fascinating, Lou. We're just talking about the pool. Sort of like a smaller cage, smaller octagon. right? You know what I mean? You change a little bit of dynamics, you change a little bit of size, it changes things. And it was the science of the pool about why no world records are going to be broken. But on the other side, what Steve just said, just quickly, the track that they have is this new track. And don't forget, track and field is big in Europe to begin with. They nailed the effing track. And like Steve said, they're breaking world records in the qualifying heats where they hold off. They're going to, like, shatter this thing. Like, this thing is like a springboard. Normally, athletes complain. Every track and field athlete has said, oh, my God, this is the ultimate track. They said, we're going to shatter world records, and they already are. So look for that to be going down. But fortunately, we got Lou in the house because it's a big UFC card. Lou, the UFC doesn't care there's Olympics. They got business to take care of.
They got business to take care of from Abu Dhabi tomorrow, and it's a 9 a.m. kickoff Pacific time. Just be aware.
Love it. That goes right with the Olympics. So is this the card, Lou, that reportedly they didn't like the first time? They were like, come back when you have a sort of a better card, and now so they're finally doing it.
I hadn't heard that. They missed. They were supposed to have Nate or Nick Diaz in the co-main event. They got rid of that. They bring in a short notice. It's still a pretty good card, and actually, for the first time in some weeks, Gabriel, I see some underdogs.
I knew you would, because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, damn, getting plus 350s like for some of these fighters. I was surprised about some of the odds. More with Lou on the other side.
That race for the Cy Young, pretty much as equally compelling and intriguing as the race for the wild card spots in the National League.
And also keep in mind, this team doesn't pitch the entire season, so his ERA gets affected much, much more if he has a poor outing than, let's just say, Chris Sale or Zach Wheeler that's been there all season long. This would be a fun one to watch it play out, but the big loser last night were the Phillies and Zach Wheeler.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The silver and the bronze. I give you Canada, France, Germany, Serbia, and Australia.
Germany, more so than Canada. I think that their talent, it's a little more tiered. You know what Dennis Schroeder's capable of. Franz Wagner, another player. Daniel Tice steps up. And Mo Wagner as well. They're built to really take advantage of the mistakes that Team USA makes, and they can make the effort plays.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, like, it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on like 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, yeah, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to like number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. The Friday Night Freak Show continues. Cam has been the fight stoppage. Doctor stopped Cam's not with us, Lou. He cut himself shaving. He was bleeding. True story. He was bleeding too much. He couldn't come on. It's the second time he's done this in like the last 3 months or so. I told him, dude, buy an electric razor. But it was like the doctor, like the blood, he had a bandage. It wouldn't stop and stuff. So he wasn't cleared to participate on the show tonight, which is a true story with Cam. And like I said earlier in the week, we had Kurtz. We had to take Kurtz off the air because he had a cricket in his studio, which I actually thought was pretty funny. But evidently, the cricket sound was annoying. So it's been one of these weeks this week. All right, so we're in the middle of this Olympic stuff, but I love the fact that Lou just said it's an early morning card, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time. We get started, but let's start off with the main event here. Corey Sandhagen against Khabib's nephew, Nurmagomedov, here, a minus 334 favorite. Lou, what do you think of the main event here?
Yeah, this is a tough one, Gabriel, because every way I spin it, I believe that Umar Nurmagomedov is a rightful favorite in this fight. I believe he's probably a 250 to 300 favorite. You can see he's priced a little higher than that. That's causing a lot of people to really want to look at Corey Sandhagen. I get that. Sandhagen is taller. He's longer. He's well more experienced. He's well more experienced against an elite set of UFC competition in the division, whereas Umar is not. This is a step up for Umar. That said, if you look at a couple fights, primarily the Peter Yan against Corey Sandhagen fight. Now, Corey's better today than he was when he fought Yan, but Yan, pint-sized little wrestler boxer, slick boxer, was able to hold his own, push Corey back, and win a decision on the feet. I believe that Umar Nurmagomedov is a more modern, taller, longer, younger, more apt Peter Yan, and for that reason, I like Umar in this fight. I think this thing, the way I'm going to take it, Gabriel, is either over 4.5 or fight goes to the decision, or Nurmagomedov via the decision, trying to get that price in a more manageable state. You want to take Umar Nurmagomedov in a parlay with someone, I can live with that as well.
That's probably the way I'm going to approach it, especially with all this Olympic action going on. But what about the co-main event here, Lou? Do we have a live dog in the co-main event of this card?
I think we do. This Michael Olashazek, I'm going to call him Michael O. Slick boxer, totally willing. He's aggressive. He's going to come right at Magomedov here. Magomedov is not the grappler that most Russian vice grip wrestlers are. He comes with Muay Thai background. Now, he can grapple, and the key to this fight will be that they'll start standing, and as soon as Magomedov tastes a little bit of Michael O's power, he's going to start to grapple. Now, Magomedov has only one functioning eye, and that should help Michael O while this is on the feet. The issue with Michael O is he can't even spell wrestling, let alone execute 1/10 of wrestling. And so if this fight does hit the ground, Magomedov will rub him out. But while this fight's on the feet, Michael O is live. If you want a flyer, I'd go beyond Michael O. I'd go Michael O via KO.
Yeah, you know what? When I was looking at this fight, I was thinking the same thing. I look at the card, I'm like, damn, yeah, Sandhagen. I like what you said, too. People get attracted to the number, and me and Odessa would talked about this with years, and Joey always said, bet the fight, not the number, right? You start betting numbers, you get in trouble in the fight game. Yeah, and there's nothing worse, too, Lou, than he got knocked out in the first round, but it was a good bet because it was plus 250. Well, no, it wasn't. He got knocked out in the first round. Like, I hate that term. You know what I mean? You hear people? Like, I understand betting the number in football is different. Betting the number in baseball is different. Betting the number in the fight game is not a way to operate. Well, but, maybe he can win. He's plus 250. But, in Michael O, as you stated, when I looked at this, I'm like, damn, I'm not sure Magomedov should be a minus 250 favorite here, Lou. This seems more like a toss-up fight. And I thought the same thing. If Michael O's going to win, it's going to be because he's able to knock this guy out.
That's right. And the organization likes this Magomedov. He is a Muslim fighter. They're fighting in the heart of Muslim territory. This only made great sense for them to help sell the show with Magomedov here. They like him, and they're propelling him up.
One more segment with Lou on the other side. Let's roll.
that race for the Cy Young, pretty much as equally compelling and intriguing as the race for the wild card spots in the National League.
And also keep in mind, this team doesn't pitch the entire season, so his ERA gets affected much, much more if he has a poor outing than, let's just say, Chris Sale or Zach Wheeler that's been there all season long. This would be a fun one to watch it play out, but the big loser last night were the Phillies and Zach Wheeler.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.